Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at carbon classification. We've been looking at basic alkanes and how they can be connected, IUPAC nomenclature. Let's just take a look at how you would classify different carbons. And this does come into play as you start getting more complicated structures to be able to differentiate between the types of carbon. So you can have several different types of carbon. And in the first example, our R group here is just a generic alkyl group. So an alkyl group is some carbon-based substituent. So if I were to now classify this carbon, it's classified as a primary carbon. And we often write that as a 1 superscript 0. Why is it primary? Well, if we look at this carbon, it only has one other carbon group attached to it. Second type of classification would look like this. So now I have two of these alkyl groups. They could be the same or they might be different. It's just some carbon-based substituents coming off of this. So if I were to classify this, as you might expect now, because there are two groups coming off of this, this is called a secondary carbon, and we write that as a 2 superscript 0. Okay, I think you can probably see where this is going. Carbon could now have 3 generic alkyl groups attached and just 1 hydrogen. As you might expect, that carbon would now be classified as a tertiary carbon. We write that 3 superscript 0. And then lastly, carbon could exist with 4 alkyl chains. We'll just draw that one over here. So in this case, there are going to be no hydrogens attached to that carbon. So that's a quaternary carbon, okay, 4 superscript 0. So in all these cases, again, I'm looking at, let me put a box around these. I'm looking at a central carbon here, and then counting up the number of alkyl substituents. So again, in the first case, I only have 1 alkyl substituent, so this is a primary. And notice that it has 3 hydrogens attached to it. As we go to the secondary now, okay, 2 alkyl groups and now only 2 hydrogens. In this case, tertiary got 3 alkyl groups and only 1 hydrogen attached to that central carbon. And then lastly, we have the quaternary example, where there are now no hydrogens attached. As we progress more in the class, we'll see that this does become important, being able to classify, and it often does affect the reactivity and certainly sort of the shape of these molecules. So that's it for carbon classification.